Hey everyone, and welcome to the first video in this three-part series that's going to dive a little bit deeper into the unique advantages of your Esomar membership, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the applications and practical benefits that your membership brings you. So today in this first video, we're going to talk about what we here at Esomar believe is the most important aspect of your membership, and that's what we like to call credibility. Now, when we use the word credibility, we use it as an umbrella term to cover the wide range of different resources that your membership provides you with, that we believe helps you distinguish yourselves from other competitors and provide you with an unparalleled reputation. So, under signing the ICC Esomar code and using your Esomar member marks are two of the most important ways that we believe you can gain the trust of other research agencies and other clients, and as well as making yourself stand out from the crowd. Applying the principles of the ICC Esomar code means that you conduct your work in a way that has the guaranteed trust of the data, research and insights industry for more than 70 years. And this is a trust that is respected not only by other research agencies and clients, but also by the general public and by your respondents. So it's an incredibly important thing to do. After all, undersigning the code and applying these principles is your badge of honor that, as I say, will help you distinguish yourselves amongst other competitors. So your next question should be, how do I showcase this to the rest of the world? And that's where your Esomar member mark comes in, and the first tip of this video. Include the mark on your website, include it on your business card, and include it anywhere else that you believe is appropriate for potential clients and other agencies to see. And the most important thing to remember here is to make it visible. Because after all, undersigning the code and applying the principles means that you've committed to the highest standard in the industry. It means you've committed to the best ethical practices and you champion best practice research. So you really should be shouting loud and proud about this. Esomar is doing its best to spread awareness amongst end clients about the importance of using Esomar members. So make sure you have your mark on your website and make sure that they know that you are a member. And if you don't know where to find your member mark, you can find it in your My Esomar account, and if you're logging on for the first time, just click on the Forgotten Password button and set it up for easy access going forward. So now let's talk a little bit more about the ethical guidance and guidelines that Esomar membership provides you with. So the first thing to note here is that simply by being a member, you have full and complete access to our wide library of guidelines. And I know what you might be thinking, there's a lot of them, what does it mean for me and how can they help me? And the first thing to note here is that we've all seen what events like Cambridge Analytica can do to our industry. So it's incredibly important that we're able to showcase that we work to a higher standard than others. And again, that's where the code and your member mark come in. So let's say you're conducting research that involves the use of mystery shoppers and you have to get in contact with them via social media or via the phone. Do you know what all of the best practices are for contacting potential respondents via social media? Do you know how to get complete, unambiguous and informed consent from your respondents? If the answer to any of these questions is no, or if you're unsure about any particular aspect of your research, then this is where the Esomar GRBN guideline on conducting mobile research comes in. If, as I say, if the answer is no or you're unsure about any of this, then this is the guideline that you need to consult in order to make sure that you're maintaining that best practice that you've committed to by signing the code. Or perhaps you're conducting research that involves children and other vulnerable populations. Do you know what you can and cannot do with the information you gather from those children? Potentially it's information from social media. Do you know, again, how to gather complete, unambiguous and informed consent, both from the child and from their parent or guardian? Or indeed, maybe you're unsure of the age that defines a child or what the definition is of a vulnerable population. Again, if you're unsure about any of these, then this is where the Esomar GRBN guideline on conducting research with children and vulnerable population comes in. This should be your primary resource that you go to consult for any of the answers to these questions. So these are just two examples of the wide library of resources that you have access to. And the most important thing here to remember about these guidelines is that all of them are written by industry experts and practitioners. So you know that the information you're getting is current, up to date, and also abides by that best practice that you guys have committed to. Now, being an Esomar member means that your peers and other clients and research agencies come to expect a certain level of professionalism from you. And in order to safeguard the value of the ICC Esomar code and all of the principles that we commit to, Esomar holds an independent disciplinary system that allows you, our members, to signal to us if you believe another member or another agency that has committed to these guidelines has not abided by them in any shape or form, whether it's a research that they've done themselves or whether it's research that they've purchased from someone else. The important thing here to know is that we investigate all valid complaints, and if you yourselves need to submit a complaint to us and are unsure how it's done, you just need to go to esomar.org/submit a complaint. Now, in addition to all of this, being an Esomar member means that you also qualify for legislative consultancy. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that as an increasing number of countries around the world begin to implement their own data privacy regulations, such as the General Data Protection Regulation or the California Consumer Privacy Act, it's becoming increasingly difficult to navigate the complexities of data compliance. That's why through Esomar corporate membership, we've created the Esomar Plus consultancy package, offering tailored benefits to all of our corporate members specific to their needs. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about this product or service, all you have to do is head to esomar.org/Esomar-Plus. Now, all of this, and we haven't even touched on what our public affairs do yet. For many, this is the little bit that people often find dry and potentially uninteresting, but the truth of the matter is, to conduct research and analytics the way we do, and in the manners that we do in our industry, it means that policymakers and legislators need to be made aware of exactly what our needs are in order for us to do what we do. Now, why is it important for them to understand all of this? It's important so that they don't create laws that stop us from doing what we do. And one of Esomar's core missions is to represent your needs and your requirements in front of international and national legislators and policymakers to ensure that these kind of things, as I say, are understood, and to ensure that we can continue to do the work that we do in the way that we love to do it. So let's take privacy and data privacy as an example. Think this isn't for you? It absolutely is. And this is something that we frequently lobby on your behalf for, so that if anything comes into place, for example, in the EU that relates to what we do, we ensure that it's done in a way that allows us to continue bringing business intelligence to other agencies and to other clients. And if you're unaware of our efforts, all you have to do is visit our Facebook page and look at how many times we went live from Brussels to see just how active we are on your behalf. It's a sad fact of life that the more data there is, the more chance there is that someone is going to use it unethically. And we ensure that we promote best practice and best ethical practice within our community, and we ensure continued commitment to those principles. And if you're unsure about anything that I've said, then just head to esomar.org/advocacy to see our actions. And behind all of this, of course, is a lovely, friendly team that is always willing to help no matter what your query or question is. And if you have a question for them, just send an email to professional.standards@esomar.org and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. So to summarize, we had tip number 1, use your Esomar member mark and make it visible. Tip number 2, consult the guidelines if you're ever unsure about any aspect of the research you're doing. Tip number 3, consult Esomar Plus if you're worried about data compliance. And my last tip for you in this video is to sign up to the Esomar newsletter if you haven't already. It's regular and it's filled with content, information, and tips and tricks. So guys, that wraps up this first video about credibility and the most important aspect of your Esomar membership. I hope it's been engaging, I hope you've learned something, and above all else, I hope it's been enjoyable. And as I said throughout, if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to get in contact with us, and see you again in video 2.